Hey, how you doing, guys? My name's Daniel Martin, obviously. If you don't know who I am, basically, I do all these videos for the next 16 days in putting like insight of how I stopped gambling, how you can put things in place to stop yourself from gambling and get your life back in order. I'm not one to judge because obviously I've been there. I've had a gambling problem for 7 years of my life. I told a lot of lies, and it's taken me a long time to accept the things I've done wrong and the mistakes I've made. But basically, I'm going to talk about on this one. I was supposed to do this video yesterday. Was day 2. It's going to be about debt and how to put the things in place to help yourself stop gambling or help towards it. I'm going to start on the bookies. What I did was I self-excluded myself. You can get that online. You can go in the shop and they take a picture of you, and you can just sign yourself, say I don't want to be in the bookies, but you have to do it in every single separate bookies. I did it in every single separate bookies, just so that I was done, so I knew where it stood. It's a struggle for me to do that because I still have the buzz of gambling. I used to enjoy it. It used to dominate my life for so long. It's unbelievable how it used to dominate me. Then after that, I blocked my bank cards. I said I don't want to do anything online. I just want a basic account. That's it. Don't want to be able to do anything online. If I need to do anything online, I come into the bank and I process it through and they do it for me. I can do it there. Then they give me permission. So I've got to have a code to get permission for that. But a good bank to do that with, to block out any online gambling whatsoever, is Monza. Monza Bank. I'm plugging that to anybody. Monza's the way forward because they can put plugs and blocks on gambling online, which I think is a lot of things that I think banks should do. Banks should be more supportive of that or push to get that support. Maybe the government should, try and help out with that. With debt, I got like 4 big ones I talk about. Make that 5. You got DMP, debt management plan, DRO, debt relief order. Then you got bankruptcy, and you got IVA, or you got SARF management plan. The SARF management plan is pretty much on the same board as a debt management plan. Even it's just that you do it yourself. You negotiate your bank, you negotiate with the debtors that you owe money to, and you just basically formulate a plan that you just hand out so much money that you can afford. But you got to make sure you can afford it. You can make sure you can live without that money. The debt management plan is another one that you get involved with. A good one to go with is Step Change. They're very good as a charity and they help you out with like going forward. The debt management plan, they're just basically Step Change would step in. They would go in, find out all your debtors, contact all your debtors and say, right, say for instance, my argument, say Mr. Martin's got £120 disposable income that he can afford to pay back. So they would share it out equally with every single debt. But however, the ones that are larger, they usually put those as priority to bring them down further. Or say if you've got any priority debts like tax or child support or stuff like that, you've got to pay them off first. Then there's another one which is DRO, which is debt relief order, which is if you earn under £20,000 a year, you and your disposable income after everything comes out is £50, then you're able to basically get debt relief order, which freezes everything for a year, and then within a year you could be pretty much debt free. However, that stays on your file for so many years. However, if they find to see that you're earning more than £50 disposable income, it could be wiped altogether and you'd be back to square one. So be careful on that one. Another one which I took up is IVA, which is involuntary arrangement. It's the insolvents voluntary arrangement. It's basically telling your debtors, I can't afford to pay it. Simple as that. That's exactly what it's telling you. It's that one below bankruptcy. But there's a lot of clicks with IVA that I've begun to realise they don't tell you. They don't tell you you've got to pay a fee to the insolvency practitioner before you pay anything to the debtors. So most of that debt that you got to pay, because you only got to pay like a certain amount, like you might only have to pay 50%, or you might have 80% written off and you pay off the rest. But you find half of that is the insolvency practitioner's fee before you start to pay any debt, which, you've got to be careful. They contact all your debtors, they formulate them into a little meeting where they speak to you. And I think with my situation, Lloyd's were top. So Lloyd's had most of the brass, and then everyone else had everything else. So mine formulated to about £100 a month that I could afford. So they all share that amongst each other. It's a process that takes a while. However, I thought I'd let you know, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for all your debt collecting letters that keep coming to stop. It takes them 6 to 8 weeks to update all their files and everything that's put in place. But you need to make sure if you've got a phone contract or anything like that you've put that in your expenses, because if you don't, they will inform them that you have declared yourself IVA. So as long as you've got them in your plan, they will not inform those credit things you've got out that you've got an IVA, just so you know. And then the final one, where all hope is lost, is bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is basically where you've got no money, you've got no way out of anything, so you've got to just get out. It's more easier these days than it used to be. It's about £600, maybe a bit more, to get bankruptcy. And it basically wipes everything. So you're under the oath of an administrator that deals with bankruptcy for a year. And usually within a year, maybe a bit after, that you're set free to go. But it stays on your file for another 5 years. So from the year you're in the bankruptcy, you do that 1 year, then you've got another 5 years of it on your file. So you will struggle to get credit. I've learnt my mistakes from credit, because at school they don't tell you what credit really is. Like, it isn't until I've really studied it and looked into it. That's why I never ever will get credit again. Obviously, unless it's like a phone contract, obviously, you have a phone, that's fine. But especially with credit cards, like a guy that was from America, I think his name's Brian, and this black guy is brilliant with what he's saying. I remember he describing about having a £5,000 credit card, and then you have the ground debt, and it was like 0.75. Say you pay £100 every month, he worked out that you pay £87 worth of interest before you pay anything off. So you're paying the interest before you pay the actual money off. So you're paying effectively £13 a month of that debt. And that's why it could take up to 26, 30 years to pay off. Which I always thought was interesting. I was like, wow, once I get myself out of this situation, I'll never ever get credit again. Unless it's a mortgage, obviously, because that's not really credit. That's like you're making payments to pay it off. So yeah, it's just incredible what I've learned from gambling in some ways, because I've learned that it's a bad thing to do. It can ruin your life and ruin others' life, and it's made me think more carefully about money and think more carefully about what you take out if you're taking out credit from banks. So I hope you got something from this video. I'll be recording my third one today, and that's going to be basically what I do to keep myself busy and keep my mind fresh and clean, even when I've had a bad day today. So you gotta try and keep your mind clean so you don't go and make that first bet. You make that first bet, it all goes at the pot. So thank you again. Zinda Kaluki.